everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks. It's Jared and Bob here, flying at you on a Sunday night. So we got some decent games today. Finally, in the NFL, we were talking about this in our group text earlier. That I had said, "Oh wow, it looks like," and I had said this, but I don't know, maybe at like 11 o'clock this morning. Like, oh wow, it looks like we're gonna get some great games today. Like the matchups look really good. Maybe only like I think the only game I said I expected to be gross, and it was Pittsburgh, Atlanta. Unfortunately, there was a few other stinkers in the early window, but this late window of games has been great. But also it's been some goofy shit today, right? Like I know we talked right before I hit record about our buddy here, Ian McMillan, friend of the show. Go check him out at Bacon Bets podcast. I don't have the tweet right in front of me, but he bet on
it started with Baltimore, and they lost their quarterback in the first half.
Yep.
He bet on the Niners, who lost their quarterback in the first half.
Yep.
He had over 40.5 when the Giants and the Commanders were tied at 20 and went to overtime. Finished tied.
And it ended in a tie, yeah. He bet on the Jets.
Oh God, I did too.
The Jets couldn't score on first and goal.
So the Jets couldn't score 3 trips to the red zone.
Yeah.
And I just needed them to cover +3. I didn't even need them to win.
Yeah, same. I took the Jets +3.
I'm like, what the fuck, man? Nothing. And of course, it's hard to say because they went for it on 4th down. But it's like, oh, you just kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
But, when you're coaching at that time, it's hard to say because you need to go for the win. So,
right.
Yeah, they had 3 chances. What the fuck?
And then his last bet was
Cleveland,
the
Texans, and Cleveland scored 24 points, none of which were on offense.
Yeah, imagine that. I want to know that statistic. When's the last time a team scored 27 non-offensive points?
I don't know, dude. I don't know if you're like
might be the first time ever.
But they had they had one of each, right? A return, a pick, and a fumble.
Yeah, it has to be, if not the first time ever. It's got to be the first time ever, at least, that the team that did that, those were the only points scored in the game.
Yeah,
right. Like a team has probably done that before, but they might have also scored other points.
You know what? It's really hard to say, though, with a pick, a fumble, and a return touchdown. That's hard. That's fucking hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah,
especially because before Marcus Jones, whatever week that was, week 11, there was only 1 return touchdown in the NFL.
Yeah.
So not only you're supposed to have a return touchdown and a fumble return touchdown and a pick return touchdown in the same game and not score offensively. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's wild.
Watson looked bad.
He looks like a guy that hasn't played in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of everyone came in today and everyone was like, oh yeah. Well, see, this is the goofy shit, right? And this is where you get people that are fucking dickheads that are like, whoa, it was the right bet. It just didn't hit. Like, if there ever was a game where I would allow someone to say that and not give them a rash of shit, it would be this game, right?
No, like they lost by they lost by double digits.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson played so bad that if someone bet Houston +8, and again, this is where we get into it's the dumb shit, right? That's the dumb shit that people say. Oh, it was the right bet. Houston +8 was the right bet.
I would say the Jets are a better example because they were down 5, getting 3. First and goal from close. Didn't punch it in. Got the ball back. Didn't punch it in. Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah, didn't punch it in.
Yeah.
Got the ball back again.
They could have
got
kicked
down
field
in the
goals
red zone,
every time.
got down in the red zone, and then threw a pick. It was fourth and 10 in the red zone, so
Yeah.
threw a
Yeah.
pick. But that's a bet that should have fucking hit. Jets
Yeah.
+3.
Yeah.
But this is why it's also gambling, because
Right. Because weird shit like that happens.
fucking Minnesota, they are fucking killing me. Because and that's the thing, is the bartender keeps taking them.
Yeah.
So the bartender's killing me
Yep.
by proxy of fucking Minnesota.
I don't know what it is. I refuse to believe that Minnesota is a good team.
Well, they've been playing. So they have the AFC East. Have they played Miami yet? I feel like they have.
I think they have.
So they lost to Philly pretty convincingly. I don't know who their other loss is. Do they still only have one?
I'm trying to pull it up right now.
But
Minnesota.
they beat Buffalo in that fluky game.
They lost to the Cowboys. They got
they got
shit
throttled by the
stomped,
Cowboys.
40-3. And then they
So-
lost to the Eagles 24-7.
So in terms of like your competition in the NFC, they've effectively lost both of those games.
Yeah, and they took Buffalo to overtime.
Yeah, but that was
Beat
again,
them.
that was the Josh Allen fumble.
Right. They let the Patriots hang in. They let the Jets hang in.
Yeah, they've had close games with the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They
only
had to
beat the
play the
Lions by
Bears.
4.
Like they're playing the Bears, the Packers. Like the NFC North isn't this good.
So if you look at they're 10-2. Their wins against the Packers in week 1. I mean,
Green Bay's not good this year.
looking at what the Packers are now, like that's not impressive. That's not an impressive win. Green Bay's not good. Week 3, they beat the Lions. I mean, at that time, the Lions had the best offense in the league, but they're still
the worst
the Lions.
defense.
They're the worst defense.
They're the worst defense. So that's not a good win.
It's not impressive.
And then they won by 4, didn't they?
Yeah, they only won by 4.
Saints suck.
They beat the Saints in week 4. The Saints are awful. They beat the Bears in week 5. Barely. They beat the Bears by a touchdown.
They suck then too.
And that was before the Bears figured it out. And then they beat the Dolphins 24-16 in week 6. That's a fine win.
Who played? No.
Oh, was that when Tua was dead?
I think Skylar Thompson played.
Let me check the box score. Yeah.
They won by 8 with a third-string quarterback.
That was the game that Teddy Bridgewater died, and they put Skylar Thompson in.
Yeah, so for 3/4 of the game, Skylar Thompson played. So you won by 8 against a third-string quarterback.
Yeah. So that's not that good of a win. Then they had a bye.
That wasn't even fucking prepared.
Then they beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are not good.
Nope.
Then they beat the Commanders. They're not good.
Nope.
Then we have the Bills that we just talked about.
Luke.
Then we have them getting throttled by the Cowboys. Then we have almost losing to the Patriots. And then
needing a kick return touchdown in that game.
Right. And then almost losing to the Jets. So this now looking at the rest of their schedule, they're at Detroit, home against Indy, home against the Giants, at Green Bay, and at Chicago.
That's awful. That is a awful, awful, awful schedule.
They might finish 15-2.
Well,
like there might be one game where they just fucking choke it away. But like I would have a hard time thinking that the Vikings are going to finish worse than 14-3. And they're going to be off. They're going to probably be 14-3 and lose in the divisional round.
Well, it depends on what sorry ass team they catch, but
yeah,
I will be fading Minnesota in the playoffs and probably losing.
100%. I will fade Minnesota with you and probably lose.
Justin Jefferson will turn into 2008 Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they're not good enough to win in the playoffs. And we've seen it with plenty of Patriots teams here, right? In New England. We've seen these teams that are, 14-2, 13-3, whatever. And like, then I think were they 13-3 the year they lost to the Jets in 09? No,
2010.
10. It was 10. 09 was the Ravens.
Yeah, that was the Gary Guyton game.
Yeah.
2010 they were 14-2.
Yeah, and they lose to the Jets, right? It's like you lose, you're a quote unquote good team, right? And this is what Ian talks about all the time. Like the record basically means nothing.
It's last year's Titans.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're last year's Titans, but
with a worse defense. At least the Titans were like had some balls on defense. Like
they were okay.
Who do the Vikings have on defense? Like
doesn't matter who, they give up a fuckload of fucking they do not have a good defense.
No, I know they don't. That's what I mean. The Titans defense last year was better. That's what I was saying.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They were both bad.
Yeah.
But so the only thing though is the Minnesota offense is better than last year's Tennessee offense.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the fucking league right now.
Yeah, and I think see the thing though, I don't know about offensive line. Like the Titans offensive line might have been better, but they might not have been. I don't really know. And I
think they were really good last year.
And I don't know how long Darisaw is going to be out. So
because
I don't know if there was a way to short Minnesota, I absolutely would be fucking doing that right now.
Yeah, they do that. They do. I'm gonna look that up really quick. They have that. There's a stock market for sports teams.
If I could, I don't know how do I bet on them not winning the Super Bowl or not? Outside of going game to game because they're going to be favorites.
All sports market, sports investing pays life. Is this it? I don't know. I don't know if this is actually it, but I feel like I've seen people talk about this before, that there is a stock market for athletes and like sports players and teams and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I would.
Well, the way to short them is to just bet against them once it comes playoff time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the good thing, at least for me, in the meantime, is I have a future on them to win the NFC North, which is looking pretty solid right now. Because I don't even know are the Packers still in second place, or is it the Lions?
I don't even know. Packers win today?
I don't know.
Yeah, they did. They beat Chicago.
Yeah, they beat Chicago. That's right. 28-19. Yeah, dude, the Lions are in second place in the NFC North at 5-7.
So Minnesota has to be close to being able to clinch.
I think so. I would imagine next week. If they win next week, they clinch the division. Because there's 5 games left.
All right.
So mathematically, Minnesota could lose the next 5 and the Lions win the next 5 and they're both 10-7, right? So mathematically, there's a chance. So if Minnesota wins next week, then there would only be 4 games left and they would have 11 wins. So I think if they win, they clinch the division next week, which is crazy because it's only week 14 next week, right?
It seems early.
Yeah. But that's how bad that division is.
Yeah, it's not great.
I mean, dude, looking at the NFC as a whole, it's not good.
So this is the, and I know I brought it up before. Is this where you buy low on the Tampa Bay Bucks?
I was just about to say that because on the app that I'm looking at, it has, obviously they're all listed by division. So the NFC North is like the Vikings are 10-2, and then Lions, Packers, Bears are 5-7, 5-8, 3-10. And then you go to the NFC South, which is next. The Buccaneers are in first place in the NFC South at 5-6. And then the Falcons are 5-8. Panthers are 4-8. Saints are 4-8.
So Minnesota, Tampa Bay. Who do you like to win outright? Just outright.
In that game?
Yep.
Like
divisional round in Minnesota.
In Minnesota? I would probably take the Bucks. So outright?
No. I didn't ask.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
ask
I know.
spread.
I know.
I didn't ask betting. I said outright. Who wins that game?
I want to take the Bucks. I would for sure take the Bucks on the spread. They'd probably be at least 4-point dogs, but I would
take the money line.
I would take the money line. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, so what now? Because truthfully, we obviously like to gamble, so that's where our heads go immediately. Because like a lot of people ask me on Thursday, it's like, oh, Bills Patriots, what do you like? I go, Bills should roll.
Yeah.
I go, but I don't know why that line came down from 6 to 3.5.
Yeah.
And people like, yeah. It's like, oh, I don't know, maybe take the 3.5. I'm like, yep. Sharps got too cute. That's it. That's all that happened.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. That's literally all
the Sharps got too cute. That line came from 6 to 3.5. Hopefully people smoked Buffalo on that because that would have been lucrative. I know you did. Fine.
Yep.
But
I said that. I was like, I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Like,
that was the thing for me is I was missing.
I was like, pound Buffalo. Buffalo is going to roll in this game. Like, I don't care what the fucking line movement is doing. We're Patriots fans, right? Like, we know this team theoretically better than any other team in the league. And it's like, do not take the Patriots against the Bills.
The only other thing that had me a little whatever is everybody around here thought they were going to lose. Thought they were going to get rolled. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, fuck, every time that happens. I bet you if people thought, oh, I don't know, we might have a chance, I probably would have came home and slammed Buffalo.
Yeah.
But people were talking like we're going to get killed. And I'm like, but how, if that's the narrative, how is that going this way? And it's like, well, I guess the Sharps really, really got too cute on that one.
Yeah. Cincinnati is going to beat Kansas City again.
You know, I didn't spend too much time making that matchup, but Cincinnati looks good. So remember when we were on here and we were doing, anyway, so my whole point about like the Tampa thing.
Yeah.
So I like logic would say Minnesota should win that game straight up, just equal standard, whatever. But there is no chance. My confidence in that is like 51%.
Oh yeah.
Now Minnesota against who's going to sneak in? I don't even know. The Giants. Like the Giants have a very weak schedule. They suck, but fucking whatever.
Yeah.
So Minnesota against the Giants. Yeah, that's two fucking terrible teams. Minnesota's offense will win that game.
Right.
But the Bucks, Cowboys.
Unfortunately, well, it could happen. But it would be weird for it to happen. So I don't think the Vikings and the Bucks can't play each other in the divisional round because the 3 division winners, because now there's only one bye.
Yeah.
So the 3 division winners play the 3 wild cards.
Oh, okay. So since Tampa doesn't get in.
Right.
As a wild card.
Yeah, they would have to play. Gotcha. They would play each other in the
yeah, so then they would be the 4.
Well, no, they would play in the divisional round because the wild card weekend is the first weekend.
So, yeah, but if there's any upset.
Right. If the season ended today, it would be Minnesota against Seattle, San Francisco against the Giants, and then the Bucks against the Cowboys.
Oh, fuck. I know, obviously the fine people of Antigua don't let you bet on Super Bowl odds while the games are being played. That's fine. That's pretty standard operating procedure. That's not their fault. But if Minnesota has to play Dallas or Tampa, I don't think they win that game.
No, no way.
And it's like it's easy to say because Dallas fucking throttled Minnesota, but it's a great matchup for Dallas.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
No, it's a fucking that's why, like, that's why I think that happened. It was too good of a matchup for Dallas, and it's like that's who Minnesota is if they had to play a team with a fucking pulse.
Right. Yeah, I think you were right. What you said before. I think Minnesota, if they play the Giants, they probably win. If they play the Seahawks, they win.
Yeah,
If
I
the
think they outscore the
Commanders,
Seahawks.
if the Commanders sneak in somehow, they'll beat them. But like once they have to play like the Niners, the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Eagles, like there's not a
Yeah.
chance. Not a fucking chance.
And it's like they're probably dogs to Philly and San Francisco.
Yep.
They're probably favorites to Dallas and Tampa.
Would they be though? To
So
Dallas, if
I
if they lost 40-3. I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
you
know the game would be in Minnesota,
so
but
I guess
still, like,
I guess the one aspect that fucks this all up is that it's Dallas,
yeah,
and you have to account for where the books are going to put that number. So actually, they probably would open as dogs to Dallas because if they give Dallas 3, they're going to be so fucking upside down on it.
right, right.
So, but I don't know. I mean, that's a weird one. I don't know. Doubt like would they make Dallas -4.5 against the number 1 seed?
I don't know. What would be the number 2 seed? Philly's the number 1.
I mean, Philly still has to play some games.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, wow, holy shit, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. There's a chance that the Vikings get the number 1 seed.
If they go 15-2 or 14-3, there's a fucking very, very good chance they end up with the 1 seed.
Yeah, holy shit. Let's look at what's the Eagles' schedule. Well,
They
the
got
Eagles, they play the Giants twice.
yeah.
Then they play the Bears, the Saints, and the Cowboys. So the Eagles could lose to the Cowboys, but they should beat they should win the other 4 games. They should beat the Giants twice and the Bears and the Saints. Cowboys is kind of a toss-up. The Cowboys should win that game actually, because it's another good matchup for the Cowboys. Because
Yeah.
the Eagles,
I think they lost earlier in the year.
the Eagles can't stop the run, and the Cowboys run the ball very fucking well.
I could also see Philly being one of those teams where they kind of like limp their way in. And then it's like, ooh, I don't know, Philly. I don't know, Philly. It's like, ooh, I don't know. I think Seattle could beat Philly this time. They're playing in the first game, and then Philly just comes out and thumps them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you know how
like today's
some
game,
teams do that. It's like
everyone came out this week and was like, I don't know, Derrick Henry going against the Eagles. The Eagles can't stop the run.
oh come on,
Better watch the Titans. Better watch the Titans. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. The Eagles are gonna roll, and then they did 35-10.
yeah. Fucking.
I mean, we've also seen enough of the Titans, unfortunately, to
I've
know
seen
that
plenty of the Titans
to know that they fucking suck.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I might have to. I might have to place that.
Yeah.
Bucks bet.
And then
Might go to Rhode Island. Might take a ride.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't like having futures in my account because it's like then it would like it knocks my account balance down, and then it's like
right.
Like I don't want to make another deposit.
Yeah, it's just money that's held,
and it just sits there.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. That is a pretty fair point. The other thing too, I didn't even realize this, but apparently I'm getting throttled in the pool this week. So admittedly, I didn't have enough time this week to sit down and look at each game. So I didn't blindly tail Ian's picks, but I took a lot of Ian's picks this week, and Ian did not have a good week.
Well, as we discussed.
Yeah, and I am not having a good week in the pool. So I think I pulled it together in the late window. This is usually around the time when I check. I typically check, I think I've said this before on the podcast. I usually check like right at the beginning of the 4 o'clock games, because then obviously the 1 o'clock games are done. And then I check again right around this time before the late game kickoff. So I am tied for last place with 8 points. The good news there, though, Cunty Chris, who was in second place, who was potentially closing in,
Just
only
as
has 10 points. So he's only going to gain 2 points on me this week for second place. Well, as it stands right now, there's still 2 more games to go. So there obviously could change. But you want to talk about a fucking fall from grace?
How's F3 Putts doing? Because I thought he was third.
He is tied for first right now.
Well,
Well, he's only got 177 points.
I
have 203.
What's that? 16 games? No, that's 26.
So
yeah, that's 26. That's
Cunty Chris is in second place with 191. Then it's
12
Chris
back.
Freitz. Yep. Chris Freitz has 189. And then I think is that Gallagher has 187?
No.
I don't know who Blizzak is.
Different Anthony.
Yeah, that's the top. Nick, shout out to Nick, friend of the show here. Him and Benedict Arnold both have 187.
What's that? 16 behind you? Eight games?
Something like that.
All right. I keep telling people. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, it's over. It's over." I'm like, dude, if he has,
yeah.
I mean, it takes like a 3-13 week. I mean, okay, so there are 15 games, so like 4-11,
right?
And then if you turn around and go 10-5, that's 6 games.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I'll probably blow it down the stretch because I mean, it was to be expected anyway, right? Like we've talked about this on the show. There was 0 chance I was going to go all season hitting 64% of the games. So I knew I was going to have a stinker. I was just trying to obviously avoid it as best as possible and go figure the 1 week where I don't actually have time to look at the games is obviously the week that I fucking blow.
Well, get your fucking affairs in order because
I know
we're out
this
next
weekend. This week coming up is fucking busy. I'm out every single day this week. I'm on site somewhere. And then obviously we're gone the weekend.
Better fucking wake your ass up.
I know.
Or fucking you ain't going to sleep. Pick one.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to have to do it in the morning. So. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, let me see if I can pull up the episode list. Because there is the thing that I wanted to bring up, because I think we could actually have like a pretty decent conversation about it.
Ooh, no, we don't want that.
Yeah. It's called Limitless. It's on Disney Plus, and it's this TV show or limited series, whatever, with Chris Hemsworth. So there's 6 episodes. I think they're like 50 minutes each, whatever. It was run by Nat Geo, but obviously because they're owned by Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. I think, I mean, for you, I can't sit here and be like, oh, dude, you should watch it, because like you and I coming from like the fitness world, it was nothing groundbreaking that I hadn't already known, that I didn't learn either in school or from other podcasts. So, Peter Attia?
No. Who's that?
Really? You don't know Peter Attia? He's he is a doctor that is involved in like longevity and
Okay.
things like that, and he's big into fitness. He was kind of tied to the CrossFit world at one point, but he kind of separated himself from that when he realized it was just stupid. um he's boys with Rob Wolf. That's kind of like, it was Peter Attia and Rob Wolf were like the two guys, at the crux of CrossFit. And then when CrossFit started getting fucking stupid, they were like, all right, we're gonna go do our own thing over
Yeah, but
here.
they got out a while ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was when it got stupid internally, but people didn't realize that for another like 6 years.
Oh yeah, yeah. So Peter Attia kind of pivoted and, like I said, went into like longevity stuff. And Rob Wolf obviously went into nutrition. Both of them are great. They've put out some really interesting stuff. I don't think Attia has any books, but Rob Wolf, I think, has come out with at least 2 or 3 books.
Oh, dude, the paleo guy.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, unfortunately, that's what he's pegged as now. It's like, oh, Rob Wolf, the paleo guy. But so there's 6 episodes, right, on it. And I think it was really, really cool. And I would recommend it to just about anybody. I think any average person should watch this, because it talks about a lot of like really good health benefits and stuff. So the first episode is it's called Shock. So it's about extreme cold. So I also kind of don't want to give too much of it away, obviously, because I want our listeners to fucking go check it out. But the main theme, each episode has like a main theme, right? So the main theme of the first episode is cold plunges and ice baths and things like that. So they actually go into a little bit of the science behind like how it works. Like they don't go like deep dive in. Like they, at one point for another episode that I'll talk about in a minute, like when they talk about strength, they like do like a zoom in on like a virtual cell, and they show like the mitochondria, and they don't get like deep dive into like the mitochondria and like the ribosomes and all that shit and like how the cells actually work. But like they do show the mitochondria, and they say like it's important for all that shit, but whatever. um they give you a basic level knowledge of some of this stuff. So they talk about the cold shock proteins in the first episode and why they're good for you. And they also kind of talk about heat shock proteins as well. So they talk about sauna. So the whole first episode is kind of about extreme temperatures and like how it helps the body, and how they don't use the word apoptosis, but it kind of facilitates cellular apoptosis, which for anyone that's listening that's like, what the fuck did you just say? That's basically like the killing of faulty cells in your body, basically like cells that are broken or old and shit that don't work good. um that kind of clears these heat shock and cold shock proteins, kind of like clear all that stuff. But I thought it was really cool. It's really interesting, and it gives like enough information that like people are interested, but not so much information that you're just like, I have no fucking clue what's going on here. um then so I'll give you just the rundown of the rest of the episodes. So the second episode was about strength. That's the one that I just mentioned, where they talk about like why it's important to build strength and why, and they kind of like debunk the whole like you don't have to look like Thor, right? Because it's obviously Chris Hemsworth. And they talk about like having strength, and as you get older, your proportion of strength is directly related to longevity, right? Like how long you live. And they talk about that kind of stuff, and obviously why that's important. Then they do stress, right? Stress is another one. and they introduce like cortisol. They talk about like the stress hormone cortisol. And I thought it was really interesting because they talk about how, and they don't, again, they don't get into the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, but they do talk about cortisol. And they say, like, if you're stressed all the time, it's going to cause bad things. And versus like this stress hormone cortisol was originally, you know, in hundreds of thousands of years ago, it was released in order to get us into the fight or flight mode. But then they talk about like the ramifications of constantly being stressed and how that affects the body. Um, then another one was memory. So they talk about like the brain, how the brain works. And then obviously in one of these episodes, that's when Chris Hemsworth reveals that he's at higher risk for Alzheimer's, and says he's like stepping away from acting for a little bit to kind of like, you know, enjoy time with his family and like be really healthy. Um, and then they do fasting is another episode, which I thought was really cool because they kind of like, they don't promote really like, oh, dude, you should do intermittent fasting, right? Like they mention it and they're like, yeah, that's a thing that some people do, but like fasting should be a part of everyone's diet or everyone's, you know, life and routine. And then they break down the reasons why. Again, they call them zombie cells. Like it clears out the zombie cells. That's that apoptosis, right? That's all that shit. And then the last episode got kind of goofy. It's about acceptance and like getting old and dying. And they like age Chris Hemsworth. They put him in like a suit that like makes him feel like an old person. It like restricts his movement, and like they do all kinds of weird shit. And then like they essentially like kill him. They have him experience death and weird shit. It's kind of goofy, right? Um, but 5 out of the 6 episodes, I think they knocked it out of the park. I think they hit a home run. So, like I said, like I can't sit here and tell you that you need to go watch it, but the collective you as our listeners, I highly recommend it. Like I would tell anybody that asks about it, it's worth it. Like definitely watch it and check it out. I enjoyed it. So I mean, you might still enjoy it, but you're not going to sit there and be like, wow, I had no idea. That's why fasting is good for you.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, you know the drill. It's hard for me, A, because like forget knowledge base, because obviously you have a knowledge base, whatever. But I have every day, this is what I do.
Right.
So it's like there's also an element of I'm sure they went over like so with fasting again. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm just gonna speak hypothetically
Mm-hmm.
as to why it's hard for me to get excited about this stuff. Well, outside of here's a great example. Couple that comes to the gym, on the side they do catering. So I asked, I go, "Oh, you guys hosting or traveling for Thanksgiving?" They go, "Neither." They go, "We're not doing anything." She goes, "I don't
Yeah.
want to serve. I don't want to serve anybody, and Jonathan doesn't want to cook.
Yeah.
So we're taking this week off, and we're just not doing anything." And I'm
Yep.
like, I completely understand. No, because it's
Yeah.
the same thing as like, wow, it must be so great. You just get to like lift every day. I'm like, kind of feels like work,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of.
Kind of.
Um, so, but like even something because what it all comes down to is all this info is great, but I need to know how to use it for my people. And if I start telling them that fasting does this and does that and does this and does that, and it's all this beneficial stuff, cool. But what does it really do? Like at the end of the day, what does it actually do? Like in practical app, like this is like the difference between anatomy and functional anatomy.
Right.
Functionally, intermittent fasting only works if you eat less calories than you were eating before. And because of the eating in that smaller window, that's how people end up losing so much weight. So like when people come to me about fasting, they're like, well, this and that and this and that. And I'm like, ultimately, what do you want to do? It's like, well, I'm
Right.
trying to lose a little bit of weight. And I'm like, well, you need to eat less than you were eating before.
Right.
So if you were eating fucking 2000 before, and now you're eating 1,800, and intermittent fasting is a way for you to do that. Great.
Right.
That's what's important, though. It's the math at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then if we're talking about people who are already like lean and trying to get up on a stage or some shit or get ready for a photo shoot, then it gets a lot more complicated. Luckily for me, I don't deal with any of those people, so I don't really have to concern myself with it.
Right.
But all of the other stuff, although good, it's a little like it's a lot for me
Yeah.
to go through it.
Right. Right. And that's like I said, like I can't sit here and tell you specifically that you should go watch it. But I think like if any of your clients ask you like, hey, have you heard of this thing?
Yeah.
I would say to recommend them to watch it. Because I think it's beneficial.
That would be like, so what was it? 6 episodes? How long are they?
Like 50-ish minutes.
I don't have to bother with the last one because it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And if someone was to ask me, it's like, oh, well, did you see the 6th episode? It's like, it was kind of too weird for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically it.
It got a little goofy.
Yeah. Because it's about death.
All right. So it's 5 hours. I suppose I could, because then it'll like give me like content or talking points or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was able to use Liver King last week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the big surprise.
Do you want to transition into that? Are you good with Limitless?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
like 50-50. I might watch it, I might not. I have no idea.
So like one of the because you
went I'll write this down.
Yeah. Because you went specifically into fasting.
Yeah.
And this is why I like Peter Attia a lot, is he doesn't shit on intermittent fasting, but he also doesn't like prop it up and say that like everyone needs to do this. He literally, so his whole thing, again, remember, is health and longevity. He's trying to help people live as long as they can, as healthy as they can. So he flat out said in this documentary, people that do intermittent fasting isn't enough for the benefits at the cellular level, right? So what his whole thing is, he wants to make an effect at the cellular level. He wants to trigger cellular apoptosis and kick the body into ketogenesis and all of these things. And he's like, in order for that to happen, you have to fast for a minimum of 24 hours. So he's talking about stuff like that. And again, every episode has like this goofy challenge thing because it has to be theatrical, right? It's on National Geographic. So like the challenge that Hemsworth had to do for the fasting episode was him and Attia both fasted for 4 days straight. So like, and some of them were just kind of stupid. Like the shock one, he had to swim like 100 meters in fucking ice water in like the Arctic with like no wetsuit. It was like this. It's goofy shit that they have to do to like make it exciting, right? For people to watch. But the challenges are less really what's good about the show versus like the actual information that they get. And again, like I said, that's why I like Peter Attia and I like the stuff that he puts out, is because he'll flat out tell you like, if you're looking for health and longevity, this is what you have to do. Because he even talked about when, as far as saunas go, he broke down like, if you want to get the best effect for health and longevity, you need to do I think it's at least 180 degrees, 3 days a week for a minimum of 20 minutes. He's like, if you do anything less than that, like, it's not that you're not going to get any benefit, but like, this is what the research shows. Like, this is what it's going to get. So he's very specific about that stuff.
Well, that's good, because it's not like, if you want to accomplish a certain thing, it should be because I know there's not a lot that's black and white in our world, our mind. You're not in it anymore, whatever. There's not a lot that's black and white,
right?
But like, some things are,
yeah,
but they're hard, so people don't want them to be.
Exactly.
And it's like, So it's like, oh, sauna. It's like sauna's really good for you. It's like, yeah, it is. And you're like, yeah, I'm really trying to like, I saw the documentary, like I really want to like live longer, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, cool. So where do you go 3 days a week? Well, well, I don't really do three. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
did you fucking listen to the guy?
Or they're like, well, 180 degrees is really hot, so I just do 150. And it's
Well,
like, okay, but like
well
that's
so now in this is where a little gray comes in. So what's your plan to get to 180? Well, I
right.
don't know. That seems warm.
Yeah.
Bro, like this isn't the fucking it's not it's you can't have it the way that you want it. What it's not the
Yes.
way that's convenient to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life does not start and end at your convenience, Donnie.
Correct.
Like if it's like so I listened to Keith Barr talk about tendon rehab,
Mhm.
and he does any research with tendons. Like, you want to know research with tendons, this guy fucking does it. He's in the lab, he's with people, whatever. And one thing he says with tendons, he goes, if someone has a tendon injury, you want to load the tendon. So if you're dealing with some patellofemoral stuff, like top of the knee or like kneecap, then you need to load your knee. 30-second hold, 2 minutes off, 4 times.
Right.
He goes, and you can do that like every day. And then what does it end up being? It's like, well, I don't know about that. Why? The tendon research just said, like, what,
Yeah.
why? Because
Yeah.
it's gonna hurt. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. You are hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it hurts. It
Yeah.
hurts because you're hurt. It should fucking hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, that's a good thing. Like, for once.
Right.
And then, but like, that's the thing is, you have to do the protocol
Right.
if you want it to work.
Right.
It's like, well, I don't know if I want to hold a body weight squat for 30 seconds. You know what? Then keep fucking stretching your quad out, and I fucking hope the best for you, because it's not gonna fucking work.
It's the classic, the people that want to lose weight, right? And they come to you like, oh, I got to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And they don't lose weight. And they're like, I don't know what you're like. I'm only eating, say, like, use your example from earlier, right? Say they're used to eating 2,000 calories a day. And they're like, I'm only eating 1,800 calories a day. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. And my first question would be like, okay, what are you doing on the weekends? And they're like, well,
you're
I
only
typically don't.
logging.
I typically don't really, watch too much on the weekends. It's like, okay, well, are you logging your food? Yeah, mostly, right? That's usually what they say, mostly. And it's like, no. Are you every single fucking thing that goes into that hole in your face? Are you logging it? Yes or no? Because
Yeah,
if the answer is no, then that's why you don't know why you're not losing weight. Because I have an app on my phone right now that tracks calories of food. If I only put in one meal a day, and on my app, it's say I eat one meal that's 750 calories, and I only do that every day. And it's like, look, the app on my phone says I'm only eating 750 calories a day. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. Well, because you're not logging everything that you're doing. You're not, it's like people are just, like you said, they want it at their convenience, right? They want to lose weight at they have decided that if they just say enough times, I want to lose weight, they'll just lose weight. And like, that's not how it fucking works. Like, it's a very simple mathematical equation. You need to consume less than what you burn.
Yeah, it's not Mustafa and Austin Powers where he gives in when you ask him the question the third time.
Yeah.
No, and then another thing I always like too is like, trying to lose weight, and it's like, all right, what was the weekend look like? Well, I do like to have a glass of wine. It's like, it ain't a glass of wine that's your fucking problem.
Right.
So
If
what
you
the
drink
fuck is coming with it?
a bottle, or you drink a bottle of wine, which is probably 600 calories, if I had to guess, in an entire bottle of wine. I mean, that's just a guess. But like, it's shit like that too, where people are like, oh, I don't know. Like, I barely even ate anything yesterday. Okay,
No,
well,
here's one. So, one of my athletes, his father's fucking pain in the ass. The guy we met at the sports book a couple
oh
times.
yeah.
So he's like, he goes, oh, I can get something healthy from Emma's, right? I go, probably not, but what? Like, why are we doing this right now?
Yeah.
I go, why? So his son orders buffalo tenders, rice pilaf, and a potato. Doesn't sound bad, right?
No.
Okay. Fried tenders, right then and there. We're already looking at high calorie intake.
Right.
The buffalo sauce, obviously hot sauce and butter, and that's generally how it goes.
Right.
That's probably 4 servings of fat just in the buffalo tenders and the sauce. Maybe even more, maybe like 6. Rice pilaf. That's probably another 4 servings. Like, so right then and there, you've had 10 servings of fat. And if I only want you eating
Right.
6 to 8 a day,
Right.
you're over in what isn't that bad of an option
Yeah.
until you break it down and realize, fuck, it's a horrible option.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Like you said, this used to drive me nuts when people are like, "Oh, can I get something healthy from here?" And it's like people don't understand what the word healthy means. Like as what a lot of people in the fitness world probably would not like to admit, you can lose weight. You can eat a Big Mac every single day and lose weight. If all you do is eat one Big Mac every single day, you're going to lose weight, right? Like, and we don't have to get into like blood work and all that other shit. Like, I'm just talking like if your one goal is to lose weight.
If this was the comments on Instagram, you'd be getting killed right now.
Yeah. It's like because people are like, oh, I need what's a healthy option? Like, what does that even mean? I know I've said this a million times in the podcast. Like, I hate when people are like, "Oh, this is good for you," or "Is this good?" Like, define what that means? What is that good for you? Like, is it going to cause you cancer? Is it going to cause you to drop dead immediately when you eat it? Because I could give you something that objectively most people would say avocados are good for you, right? People are they use that quote unquote avocados are good for you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, if you give it to someone with an avocado allergy, it's going to kill them instantly. They're going to go into anaphylactic shock. So is an avocado good for you? I don't know. Like, what the fuck does that question even mean? Is it good for you? Like, is it going to make you live longer? I don't know. Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah. Well, it's green, right? Green stuff is good for you. Well, not really.
No, because an entire avocado. So again, like,
well, if you eat an entire avocado, that's probably 1,200 calories.
It's probably 4 to 6 servings. No, it's even more because if it's mostly fat,
yeah,
1 serving is the size of your thumb.
Yeah.
How many thumbs do you think are in a full avocado? 4, 5?
At least, depending on the size.
Yeah, so right there, if I want you eating 6 to 8 a day, and 4 or 5 are in that one avocado, good fucking luck the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Never mind if that's like a burrito bowl or something. Oh, burrito bowl, it's good for you. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That avocado and that cheese that goes on that fucking burrito bowl, never mind the fat in the food, you're over your day's worth of fat, and that's one meal.
Right.
So what the fuck are you going to eat the rest of the day? But yeah, you know what? You're right. Thank God that was healthy.
Yeah, it's just dumb, right? Because then the people like they get into like the salad stuff too. They're like, oh no, salad, it's good for you. Okay, well, first of all, before we even get anything, where did the lettuce come from? Like, where did the leaves come from? Were they sprayed with stuff that now you're eating? So like, yeah, is it good for you? I don't know, because you just ingested Roundup. How good is Roundup for you? It's pretty fucking terrible, right?
I eat a little bit of it every day.
Yeah. It's like I'm just becoming more immune to the poison. And then you have all right, well, what else are you putting in it, right? So to your point, you cut up an entire avocado and put it on your salad. And then you cut up a bunch of chicken and put it in. And then you put way too much fucking salad dressing on it. And then before you know it, your quote good for you salad is now like 1,500 calories. They're like, yeah, but I've been eating a lot of salads lately.
Yeah, I just it is mind blowing. Just actually, it's not mind blowing.
No,
It's
because
not at all.
people are fucking
Actually,
stupid.
it's just stubborn.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
stubborn
and
because
they're unwilling
they want a result, but they're completely and utterly unwilling
to
to do the
change.
things that it needs.
Right, right. Yeah,
And it's like, well, I still want to go to Subway on Tuesdays because that's easiest for me.
yeah,
Okay, man. Like you can go to Subway on Tuesdays, but if you get a foot long sub, you can't have another fucking grain the rest of the day.
yeah,
Like at all. Not
yeah.
one. Well, I can't have oats. Nope. I thought oats are good for you. They are. Or they can be,
Right,
but not when you're already eating all of your grains for lunch.
right. Yeah, but it's good for you though.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
So is eating raw liver. It's good for you.
Yeah. By raw liver, do you mean Tren?
He was that was a nice stack of whatever he was on. I
Yeah,
know I
I
saw
forget.
Winstraw. I don't know if Deca was in there. I can't remember. Truthfully, I don't know my my PEDs too well,
Let me see if I
but
can pull it up.
he was on $11,000 worth of fucking PEDs at a given time. Pretty good.
$11,000, or
Yeah.
was it 1,100? 11,000.
Thought I
That's
saw
a lot.
11,000. Now I
Jesus
don't know what
fucking
that
Christ.
time frame is. I don't think that's a month, but
Yeah.
so if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, the Liver King, if you've seen him on Instagram, whatever, guy's jacked. Obviously, not from natural sources, but he likes to tell you that if you follow his ancestral tenets, then you can be just like him or some bullshit. I don't know. And one of his things is that he would eat raw organs like liver, testicles, whatever. And, that was like part of his thing. And, being primal and fucking God knows what. Who the fuck knows? But like, everyone knew he was on steroids. People have been asking him for years, and he would like, no, I'm not on steroids. No, obviously not on steroids. First of all, not on steroids. Yeah, well, he got back for taking steroids. So,
Yep.
and lots of them, like lots of
Lots.
them.
Yeah. So I found the stack. So he was taking IGF-1, which is growth hormone. Um, the real IGF-1, not the fucking deer antler spray that you're gonna buy on the internet that you fucking spray something under your tongue and you think that like you're gonna be fucking strong. Because
Buy it off Groupon.
yeah, I did that in college. I was like, oh, this is what Ray Lewis used. Oh, I gotta use it too. It's probably really good. No, it's fucking useless. It's a waste of time. This is legitimate, like injectable human growth hormone, insulin growth factor 1, to be frank. So he was taking that. CJC. I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I don't know what CJC is. But then it's ibutamorin. I also don't know what ibutamorin is. I've never heard of that before.
No, closest thing I've heard is Clen.
Yeah. Well, clenbuterol is what all the boxers get popped for because it sheds. It's a good like it helps you be super lean basically.
Yeah.
It sheds water weight and fat. I've taken knockoff Clen before, not like the injectable Clen, but like tabs, and it's literally like what I would imagine. Obviously, I've never done meth, but I would imagine it's probably like a pretty close to doing meth. That was
The old Mexican ephedra from Hydroxycut.
That's basically what it is. I think that's basically Clen. It's like a derivative of Clen. The old, like the original Stacker 2 before it got yanked off the shelves back in the day. And what else? Omnitrope. Not super familiar with Omnitrope either. But then he's
I think
got,
these are more primal options than you might be used to.
yeah, but then
Our
he's
our
got
our ancestors took these.
um test Scipionate, which I'm pretty familiar with that. That's your stock standard um testosterone
Yep.
injection. It's just testosterone. There's two kinds. There's testosterone cypionate and ethanate. Um, Cypionate's probably more popular, but I mean, it's like people that are on, because that's the other thing too. And we've talked about it. I mean, we've been doing this for 4 years now. We've talked about steroids plenty, but like if you know someone that like goes to the doctor that gets TRT, like testosterone replacement therapy, like I believe all men, at least you should at least go to the doctor and get your levels checked when you're like 35. And I think all men over 35 should be on some sort of TRT. Um, but that's again neither here nor there. But test Scipionate is what you would get from a doctor, right? Like that's like people that are like, oh my God, you're taking testosterone. It's like, yeah, it's the same shit you would get from a doctor. So it's not like Deca, which is next on the list.
Oh, Deca was on it. Good.
Yeah, Decadianabol. Um, that is pretty legit. That's a hardcore steroid, which oddly enough, is tough on your liver.
Yeah, but he eats so much liver to offset it. Makes
Yeah.
his liver stronger. Everyone knows that the liver is strengthened by eating its own.
Yeah. And then he caps off his list
Winstrol.
with Winstrol, which
That
everyone,
helps cut. That cuts weight and fat, right? Is that what that one is?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird stack because Deca beefs you up, but I think one of the, like ibutamorin might lean you out. Like it's I don't know. It's just a weird stack. It seemed I don't truthfully I'm not familiar with CJC or ibutamorin or Omnitrope, but
Uppers and downers, Dewey.
yeah, it feels like a mix of uppers and downers. Really, like what are you really trying to accomplish? Like why not rotate these? Right? Like why not do like 6 weeks of Deca and then 12 weeks of Clen, like do it like that. Like that actually makes sense. Like why have all of these kind of like fight against each other at the same time?
Because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, that's true.
Part of the reason he got bagged is he was just reaching out blindly to people, like trying to buy HGH off them. Now, okay, so it wasn't maybe blind, but like
Right.
he was reaching out to people like in the industry or in the world, like soliciting HGH, whatever, and buying it. Like he wasn't like a narc either.
Right.
Fuck.
IMAP.
So follow-up question on testosterone. Because obviously you can go to your doctor or whatever. They'll try not to give it to you.
Yeah, they'll do anything they can to not give
Yeah.
it to you.
What's the deal with like some of those clinics, like New England testosterone, whatever the fuck? Like, do they do TRT? It's just like what, cash based?
That's a good question. I'm not super familiar with that, but I would imagine
Well, I'm
what
so
you would
familiar, I probably
do.
just made one up.
Well, I would imagine like what you would do because no, I've heard like the old commercials on like the Sports Hub and stuff like
Yes.
that. That if you have a shitty doctor that is going to do everything they can to not prescribe you testosterone, that you would then go to one of these clinics and they're kind of like more apt to do that for you, right?
Yeah.
It's dude, I could go on fucking rants about a lot of shit. And I think I've done one before about just doctors in general. But like general practitioners are kind of fucking morons.
Yes, they are educated, but they're not smart.
Exactly. Right. So because and I think it was in regards to testosterone levels, right? Like if you go to let's say let's in a hypothetical scenario, let's take a 36-year-old male that has a testosterone level of 350 millimolar per whatever the fuck the measurement is. If you go to a general practitioner and you say, Doc, I feel sluggish, I'm always tired, I don't feel like I used to, like I just don't feel like myself, like can we get my testosterone checked? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. Oh, well, it came back and you're at 350. That falls in the normal range. Well, the normal range is from, I think it's 250 to 1100. So that's a huge fucking range. And also, when you're 36 years old, you shouldn't be at the low end of that range, because I think the average like 80-year-old is like 250. So if you're 36 years old and you're at 350, there's a problem, right? Whatever the problem is, like it still needs to be looked into more. But a typical general practitioner would be like, nope, you fall in the normal range, you're fine. I'm not, why would I prescribe you testosterone? You fall in the normal range. That's stupid. But if you go to like a urologist or one of these, men's health clinics, they actually look at you and be like, holy shit, you're 36 years old and your testosterone is at 350. We need to do something to help you. You know what I mean? Like,
Imagine that. A
these
doctor that wants to
people,
help.
yeah, I know, right? Like these people that think that doctors have all the answers, or like that their general practitioner has all the answers, are fucking idiots. Because they typically don't, right? Like
No, and I hate to do this, but it is a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none.
exactly.
Now, it's not master of none, like
You still know you still know a lot of shit,
physical,
right?
but like that's
yeah.
the thing, is like physicals and the sniffles and fucking, they listen to your breathing and it's like, oh fuck, something ain't right here. Like
Right.
they can still do that stuff, but
yeah. When it comes to like the specialized stuff, it's
they
like
know nothing.
you don't really know what you're talking about.
It's like because a very easy example is you wouldn't go to an orthopedic surgeon for your heart,
Right. yeah.
but you would go to the general guy for a specific need.
Right. And like ideally, if you have a good general practitioner, they would refer you to the specialist, right? If they would be like, well, your testosterone is in the normal range, but it is a little bit low. It's on the low end of normal. So I'm going to refer you to this men's health clinic to maybe get a second opinion, right? Like that's a good general practitioner, one that realizes like, I'm not really super sure about this, or like they're like, I think I might have heard a heart murmur, but like, I don't know. So I'm going to send you to a cardiologist for an EKG, right? Like that's what a good general practitioner does. They don't just fucking sit there and be like, nope, you're fine.
Well, when you find a good one, let me know.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I'm still looking. Although I might go back to my old doctor that I had a few years ago. He was in Foxborough. He left and went to Rhode Island. He's a cash doctor. He does similar to what Benedict Arnold does. It's cash based. Have I told you about that? The guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but he's also more of like not a naturopath, but
no, he's a DO. He's a doctor of osteopathy. So he's more into like what's causing this problem versus like, you have this problem, here's a prescription.
Here are pills.
Yeah.
Pills are good. Pills are good.
Yeah. If you want to, I mean, it's a Joe Rogan episode, so obviously it's long. But if you ever have some time, or you want to actually, really learn more, and this could be for you, but also for our listeners, there's an episode of Joe Rogan. The guy's name was Brigham. I'm trying to look him up really quick so I can find his last name.
Wasn't Young, was it?
I don't think so.
Because frankly, I probably wouldn't listen to that guy.
No, I'm probably not going to listen much whatever Brigham Young has to say. Brigham Butler. So it's the Joe Rogan episode 1873, came out on September 23rd. Brigham Bueller, sorry. So it was an absolutely fucking,
that sounds fucking made up,
wild podcast. Like every now and then Rogan has like a really, really good guest that kind of like blows the doors off. he's this guy that he now runs the company Ways to Well, which is like a comprehensive like medical clinic and program and all that shit. But he originally got his start in the pharmaceutical world, and he was a salesman for some massive pharmaceutical company, and he did very well at that job. And then as he advanced, he kind of learned like the ins and outs and the shadiness of the pharmaceutical world. And so he like took all of the money that he made and just bailed and started his own, like, again, comprehensive health clinics called Ways to Well. Um, but he fucking shredded like the insurance companies. It's basically a massive racket between the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies. They're in bed with each other, and they literally only give a shit about making money, and that's it. Is the cliff notes of it. But like he goes into depth about like the shit about that, and it's great. Like I said, that's one of those podcasts where like I would highly recommend that everyone listens to it. Again, I know it's long because it's a Rogan podcast, but number 1873, Brigham Bueller, is definitely worth it. If you want to like have your eyes wide the fuck open about all the shady shit that goes on in the medical world, that's one of them.
Well, we're gonna have to get on a flight, so I may as well download it.
That's true.
That's like one way.
Yeah, it is. That's basically the flight to New Orleans.
Yeah, what is it, 3.5?
Ish. Yeah.
What'd you say? 1873? That was a good year.
Yeah. So I think it was a good year for bourbon.
This was only fucking 2.5 hours. It's like
naughty. Yeah.
Audio. What the fuck? Yes, audio only. Go to settings. What the fuck is this?
Are you on Spotify?
Yeah. Audio only.
Oh, the download, because Rogan's one
I've
of
never
like,
I've never seen that before.
So he's one of like 3 people that are allowed to have video on Spotify.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah. So if you want to watch the video with it.
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I'll just listen. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't decided how I'm going to keep myself entertained on these 2 flights yet. Although it's JetBlue.
Podcast is usually the way to go.
It's JetBlue Delta, so we should probably have in-flight entertainment, not like Southwest.
Yeah.
Southwest doesn't have anything. Or you can, or Southwest has something, but you have to watch it on your device.
Yeah, Southwest is literally the Wild West. They don't assign seats. They just give you like a group number, and they're like, "Good luck, find a good seat."
Yeah, but you know that, I mean, you do know that going into it, I guess.
No, you do, right? So
I don't know. I mean, like I've heard some people, I'll never fly Southwest. I don't get to pick my seat. What if you're flying by yourself?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I don't want to sit in the middle. Then pay to get in Group A.
Right.
It's like $30.
Exactly. Yeah,
if it's the best.
That's another one of those. People want the results, but they don't want to do what it takes to get the results, right? They don't want to pay to be in Group A, but they want to not have to sit in the middle.
Yeah.
They don't want to do what it takes to guarantee themselves to not have to sit in the middle, despite not being able to pick your seat ahead of time. But they want that anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, for a short flight, I don't know. Again, I don't know where you stand. For a short flight, I'm good with, I actually like the window.
Yeah.
I think if it was a longer flight and I knew I was going to get up, I'd want an aisle. But I don't know. I actually like the window. It just feels like I'm just like in my corner and I'm good. Yeah. And I don't get up. I don't get up. I didn't get up in Austin. That was the longest flight I've been on.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything honestly, anything less than 3 hours, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if
like
you're
if I don't if
flying
I
2.5 hours somewhere and you have a middle seat, okay, dude, it's 2 hours. Like it's not the fucking end of the world.
yeah, I don't know. People are weird.
Yeah. People are fucking weird. That's for sure. All right. Well, do you want to wrap this bitch up?
We can wrap this up.
All
Let
right.
me see if I have anything here. I might. I might not. Oh, I did write something down. Okay. So you go to a restaurant and something's on the menu. Do you have anything that is in fact an auto order for you?
Ooh.
Now,
Um,
obviously, each place
yeah.
has a dish that
Yeah.
you might like. That's not what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah. Um,
So, like an example for me, any wedding that I go to, just pencil me in for the steak. I
whatever
don't
the
care.
steak
I
option
don't
is.
give a
Yeah.
fuck what the fuck else they're offering. Put me in for the steak.
Yep.
That's what I want.
I'm
That's what I'm
100% on board with that.
that's what I'm getting. It does not matter what the steak is. It's only going to be a fucking fillet or a strip anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
doesn't matter what kinds. I think the one I'm going to in December, it's like a bacon wrap something. Someone's like, oh, don't want the bacon wrap. I go, so you want the fucking like vegetarian dish? Like, what the fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with you people?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want bacon, so I'll have the chicken. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Chicken. Yum.
Yum. Yum chicken. Fuck
Fucking
off.
assholes.
Yeah. Um, for me, depending on where I am and the price of it, prime rib is one of those. Like if I'm somewhere that's like super nice. So obviously you go to a restaurant, you get prime rib, it's going to be expensive, right? But if there's a prime rib on the menu and it's like $70, I'm probably not going to order it.
No, that's a lot.
But if there's a prime rib and it's like 50 or less, I'll probably order it. Like for example, I just Friday night, Amy and I went out to dinner to the Town Tavern and Tap or something like whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. It's in North Attleboro. It's on like the
Sometimes known as triple T.
yeah, yeah. T cubed. So I was looking at the menu and I was ready to order. I think I was going to order chicken and waffles. And I looked at the specials menu
That could be
and
one for you too.
yeah, yeah, I do love chicken and waffles. So I look at the specials menu and right on it, it says Friday and Saturday night only after 4 p.m. prime rib. And I was like, well, it's Friday, it's 6 o'clock. So I'm going to get the prime rib. And it was like $37. And I think it was a 16-ounce prime rib that came with horseradish mashed potatoes, green beans, and homemade cornbread. And it was fucking delicious. I mean, the green beans are an afterthought. You could have just not given them to me.
You
Like
could
I
have just
don't.
kept them.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It's like, and hold the green beans, please.
Yeah,
Oh, you
you
don't
go
like,
ahead and take.
oh, you don't like green beans? It's like, just don't even bother.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take those green beans and just throw them in the trash.
Yeah, that's because I'm gonna give them back to you.
Yeah, so fuck off with that. But the cornbread was amazing. The horseradish potatoes were really good, surprisingly good, and the prime rib was really fucking good too. So that's a great example that you asked that question because it literally happened to me 3 days ago. And I saw the prime rib. Like I said, it was $37. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm ordering it. So that's why I say like price does come into it. Like I said, like if I went to like a Davio's and they have prime rib that's $70, I'm not gonna do that. I'll get something else that's pretty good for 40. But
Which leads me. There's only because there's really only one for me. Braised short ribs.
yeah, those are
And
really
it's
fucking good.
mostly because when I make them, they don't come out that good. They're good, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but they're not. So sometimes they're not as good, which blows. But braised short ribs is an auto order for me.
Yeah. Well, you would love T Cubed because they do short rib everything. They have like a braised short rib dinner. They have a short rib
Yep.
sandwich. They had
Nope.
short
Nope.
rib.
Nope. No fucking sandwich.
Yeah, no,
Give me the fuck like
I know. But they have short rib on it. They put short rib on everything. They had like a short rib nachos maybe or something. I don't know. They had literally like four things on the menu that were all short ribs. Um, but
yep. The dinner is good for me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say prime rib, chicken and waffles is another one that's pretty close for me. And then the one that I will throw in there as a caveat as far as like breakfast goes
Biscuits and
is
gravy.
biscuits and gravy. If I'm somewhere and I see biscuits and gravy on the menu, I'm fucking ordering that shit.
Does it have to be down south or can it be anywhere?
Um, it has to be from a reputable source. So if I go to fucking Denny's in South Attleboro, which I would never, but if I found myself for some reason at Denny's in South Attleboro, I'm not ordering the biscuits and gravy from there. I mean, that's just a fact. But if I'm at like some random diner somewhere in Massachusetts or Rhode Island or anywhere that's not the South, and it looks like they might have decent, a decent way of making biscuits and gravy, I'll get it. But like I said, like if I'm in the South, it's an absolute auto order, no thinking necessary. But if I'm anywhere that's not the South, you kind of have to gauge your surroundings on that one.
And while we're talking about food, this will be a quick one. Are you gonna try gumbo in New Orleans?
I probably not.
I wouldn't bother.
No, I don't think it's worth it.
It's not. It really isn't because
We're not going to the stadium, so they have the best gumbo.
yeah, what it's like the 400 section or some shit.
Yeah. That was an
Here we go.
awesome. I I want to go back and like re-listen to that one part of that podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what episode that. I don't even know what podcast that was.
I think it was Ross Patterson Revolution.
That's going back a little bit though.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Here we go again with the fucking gumbo.
No, I did. I know we're going, whatever. I'm extending the thought. The first time I was there, it didn't have a beignet. We did not go to Cafe Du Monde. I did not have a po' boy. So those are like the couple.
Yeah.
If I
I
can
would
pull it
like
off.
to have a beignet.
Well, dude, it's easy. I think fucking Cafe Du Monde's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
And if it's not, something is.
Right.
Like we can find a beignet. It's just
Yeah.
I would like as a tourist, I would like to say I went.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm 100% down for a beignet from Cafe Du Monde.
And muffaletta will be. That's another one I haven't had, which I'm open to.
Yeah, I'm not against it.
But gumbo, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good with the gumbo.
I've had it up here, I've had it down there, and it's better down there, but it's not good.
I don't even know if I would be into like a crawfish boil if for whatever reason we stuck. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
too messy.
I'm good.
We're there for a very specific purpose for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like literally 48 hours.
Yeah.
There's no time for a big crawfish boil.
No.
It's like I don't know how to do it right. Like, not the right time.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think the only thing, well, aside from the drinks, the only thing that I really would like is a beignet from Cafe Du Monde, right? Like, because obviously we have to get a hand grenade and like you got to do like the
hand grenade. Shit. We got to go to the beach. I think you should have to experience how terrible hurricanes are. They're not good. Yeah. So that means we got to go patios. There's a Wet Willie's, like.
Yeah, I mean, We have been to Wet Willie's before.
I
So,
know.
I mean, I'm sure we'll end up there as a group, but that's not one of those where it's like, oh, we have to go. It's like I've been there and I've blacked out.
Yeah, I'll just avoid the grain alcohol.
Yeah. I'll just get like a regular one this time.
Yeah, they
I'm all
don't.
set.
Not all of them have grain alcohol.
Yeah.
It's amazing that even with the choice, it's like some of them don't have grain alcohol. Give me the grain alcohol.
Yeah. They definitely didn't really taste. I don't think they tasted like they had grain alcohol either.
No, it tastes like nothing.
Part.
That's the problem.
Yeah, they taste like delicious.
I actually drank a frozen hurricane walking to get regular hurricanes last time I was there.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's this weekend. So we'll report back afterwards.
Yep.
So let's see. What do I want to run with? I guess I'll run with this one because it's already kind of passed anyway, but I don't want it to get too out of date. So this past weekend, the Royals, like what's his dick? Who's the one? Was it? So truthfully, I actually don't even know this. I don't know if it was the actual royal family, like the bald one with the hot wife, or the redhead with the American wife that got like shunned from the family. I don't know which one of them was in Boston. But one of the brothers was in Boston last weekend. I would assume it was probably the bald one with the good-looking wife. But I don't know. But they were also here with Biden. So Biden was in Boston the past weekend too. And this actually has nothing to do really with them. Like, I don't really give a shit about who the fuck they are and who was here. My favorite part was I saw on Twitter, and this is to anyone that's listening to this show that lives around, like in Massachusetts, around Boston, will fucking get this and I hope they think it's as funny as I do. There were a bunch of people on Twitter that were tweeting, "What the fuck? How am I supposed to get to Market Basket this weekend?"
Yeah, in Somerville.
Yeah.
They were concerned about getting to Somerville Market
Everyone
Basket.
was flipping out about trying to get to the Market Basket in Somerville because the fucking royal family was here this weekend. They didn't give a fuck about any of that. They were like, I gotta go food shopping, and they're gonna make it so I can't go food shopping. And they were pissed. People were like tweeting up a storm. It was amazing. I loved every second of it. And I was like, this is such a classic fucking like Boston, like New England thing. People that are like so set in their ways that do the same thing all the time. And then a famous person comes in and their security like fucks up like their day. Like they can't do the same thing. And they're like, oh, fuck this. Which I say that as like a joke, like making fun of them. I am one of those people also. Like I'm not
pissed.
I'm not like this high and mighty person that's like, oh, look at all these peasants. No. I'm one of them. Every Saturday morning, I go to Market Basket in South Attleboro. Like I am also a creature of habit. If something happened, if for whatever reason, Biden went to Attleboro and I couldn't get to Market Basket in South Attleboro on Saturday morning at 9:00, I would be fucking pissed. And I'd probably tweet about it too. So like, it's hilarious, but like, it's also like super fucking accurate. And I loved every second of it because they didn't give a shit that any of these people were here. They cared more that like their daily routine was disrupted.
Well, I know we're not a fact-based pod, and we did do a history lesson not too long ago, but correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we fight a war in 1776 to not give a flying fuck about the royal family?
I believe so.
Yeah. So why the fuck would I care now? Why the fuck should I care about the royal family?
Yeah. It's a great question.
Like, what purpose do they serve? Like,
Nothing.
what do they do? They don't
just
do
rich.
anything.
They're literally just rich. That's it.
Like, they're worse than the Kardashians because at least the Kardashians like made a sex tape.
Yeah.
Like, at least I can like trace back to them doing something.
Yeah.
This fucking clown was just born.
Yeah. It's true.
Now I know the odds of being born are very, very low. Like a lot of like these people try to use that as like motivation. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
your odds of becoming a human are
Yeah.
so
It's like
significant.
1 in 730 billion,
Billion.
trillion, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, ah, cool. Wow. I'm so fucking lucky, huh?
Yeah. What were my odds of becoming a tree? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your odds of being born were one in what the fuck kind of like I had
Yeah.
a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
yeah, like it was like, well, you could have been a brick wall, but you're a human, so credit to yourself. It's like
I saw this meme the other day, and someone it was two people had sex in the 90s, and now I have to pay bills. And or like now I have to go to a job that I hate and pay bills that I don't want to pay. I think that's what it was. It was like that's actually really fucking funny.
I like that.
That's pretty good. It's like I didn't ask to be here, but here I am. I gotta go to fucking work every day and I gotta pay bills that are shitty that I don't want to do. Yeah, but you're so lucky. Like the odds of you, like, oh, come on. Like, what are the odds? You should be grateful. Yeah. Look at that. I'm real fucking grateful.
Yeah, awesome. Like, I don't know, maybe being a tree isn't so bad.
That's true. You don't have to
Have you
pay
ever
bills.
have you ever been one? I don't know.
Yeah.
If they chop you down, that's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then I mean, I don't know if it would really be a good thing, but you'd live like 300 fucking years. I don't know if I
If
want
you're
to
a
live that
tree,
long.
like what the fuck is the problem?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you have issues to deal with for 300 years.
Pretty stress-free existence.
The worst thing is like an animal comes along and like pisses on your feet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in California, fire,
Yeah.
someone could cut you down, or yeah, like a random animal pisses on you.
Yeah.
But who gives a shit? You're a tree.
Yeah. Not a bad life.
Trees might have it made.
I think the trees do have it made. Well, that's going to do it for us. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, review, wherever you're at. If you're audio only, you can give us 5 stars over on Spotify and Apple, iTunes, whatever the hell they call their store now. I think it's the Apple Pod store. I don't know, whatever it is. It's not the fucking iTunes store anymore, I don't think. But you give us 5 stars over there. Tell everybody you know about the show. Big thank you to mybookie.com. Use the promo code sarcasmpod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Thank you to grillyourassoff.com. Use the same promo code sarcasmpod to get 15% off your entire order every single time you check out. Wait, do the Cowboys have a red stripe on their helmet? Am I seeing shit?
No, they do.
Why?
Couldn't tell you.
That's fucking stupid. It's not the 4th of July. They have a red, white, and blue stripe on their helmet. That's dumb.
I'm guessing it's probably for a reason.
I would imagine, but like, it's not Veterans Day. It's not Memorial Day. It's not the 4th of July. It's December 4th. It's not Pearl Harbor Day. Pearl Harbor Day is December 7th. Like, what the fuck is the occasion? I don't know. Anyway, you can get us. Did I say you could get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod? But if I didn't, then you can. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook page is Sarcasm Speaks. The website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch, get our logo, get pretty much any kind of shit you want with our logo on it. And until next time. Later.